Well, here we are back again. Today's job is to add some tie downs to the Renegade's lower wings. There was never any provision made for tie downs. It's not the sort of aeroplane that you travel in. You know, it's really to blast off and go and do 20 minutes or half an hour of sheer fun. And come home again and go back to the same hangar that you came from. That's generally how the aeroplane's used, so there's no need for tie downs. But I actually intend to travel in this aeroplane, and I'm going to require tie downs. So in that regard, this is what I've come up with. Here's the wing. Right. There's my effort at a tie down. I'll show you in a second. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. Maybe. Oh, look at that! It's working a treat. This is the actual tie down itself. Obviously, this is the bottom of the bottom wing. The fabric will go between these ribs, and it will rest on this round turret that I have here. Yeah, look at that. So the fabric's going to line up on that. I'll probably put some holes in here to attach the fabric to this with some big headed rivets. And then I'll probably put a big doily over the top once I put the fabric on. I'll take this off and paint it and make it look nice. It needs to be threaded so that I can screw something like this into it. This is the stainless steel tie down ring, and it'll screw in here, and then you'll put your rope on here and put a peg in the ground. That's the intention. I don't have. I want to make this thread 3/8 UNC, and the reason I chose 3/8 UNC is because it's the same tie down kit that I'll be using for my RV6. I'll just grab a tie down kit. I don't want a different tie down kit for each aeroplane, but that's what I intend doing. The actual bracket itself was just a piece of scrap that I had. Made from something else. It's way heavier than it needs to be. Yeah, I'll try and. You probably wouldn't choose, heavy material that I've chosen. It was just purely that I had the material. I've drilled some lightning holes in it to try and get it, to try and lose a little bit of weight. Okay, let's take it off and have a look. It'll actually be held to the spar with some 316 stainless steel rivets. The 316 stainless steel rivets. It'll be the same sort of thing as that, or the same sort of size. This is pretty much what I'm making. This piece here is laminated. It's laminated out of 3 pieces of the same thickness as this, which is ridiculously thick. Yeah, they'll be riveted together. There's flush rivets on the bottom here. Yeah, beautiful flush. So the fabric will sit on here. I've just got to tap this hole. It's already drilled to 5/16, which is the size I need for tapping, but I just simply don't have the tap. But what I intend doing is I have to now make another one of these. This was more of a prototype, and it sort of looks like it's going to work, so I'll just make another one. The other already made some of the parts, but I'll bring you along on a ride as to why and how I did what I did. This is scalloped out just simply as a bit of a weight saving exercise. The big hole in here is a weight saving hole as well. The smaller holes, they're for weight reduction also. That's it. Let's go and try and make another one that looks something similar to this for the other wing, which is, if you can see it, it's just over the back there. Alrighty, I've put the laminated pieces together. There's 3 laminations there to make the one solid piece that I'm going to eventually drill and tap. I've put some temporary rivets, just slid the rivets into their holes, and I've put a couple of clamps on. So that'll hold it together while I do the initial grinding away. And I'm just using a alrighty, that's pretty much got the shape I want. Now I just want to polish it a little bit. Matter of fact, we'll take one of those clamps off, and I'll trade in the burr for a 1-inch 3M wheel. It's 1 inch this way and 1 inch diameter, and they work really, really well. Here we go again. This is basically polishing. Alrighty, here's where we're up to. This is where the tie down's going to go, along that line, and all I did was simply measure 4 inches from the rib web. 4 inches out, draw a line. That's where this thing is going to go. It's going to go on that line. Oh, what about this direction? How does it go there? Well, if we assemble it, we've got this to it, remember? That goes there, like that, somewhere. We'll temporarily stick a couple of, well, actually we'll put these things on properly. They go there, the spacers, or doublers, whatever you want to call them, doesn't really matter. Put a couple of temporary rivets in. These are solid rivets. They're just going to sit there and hold everything in place. There's one, and we'll put another one, and even a third one. Okay, so there it is, more or less assembled now, how it's going to look. It's going to sit this way. I could put it either way, but I think this is pretty nice here, lined up on the spar. It's close to the spar. It's pretty close to our 4-inch line down the centre. I just take my steel rule and line it up between the 2 ribs, which that's pretty damn good. Now the next thing, I'm going to attach this with 4 stainless steel rivets. We'll come in, it's 3/16 rivets, so I want an edge distance of 3/8. So 3/8 of an inch in from the edge, and it's way more than 3/8 of an inch there, and 3/8 of an inch in from the edge. That's where we'll put our 4 rivets. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to cut this lightning hole, and I'll probably put another couple of lightning holes along. It'll be slightly different to the other one. The objective is to lose weight, not to make it look exactly the same as the other one. Alrighty, let's drill a few holes, shall we? These are the holes that will eventually attach to the spar, and they'll of course be 3/16, and at the moment these are 1/8. The drill I'm using right now is 1/8. Four holes. The 4 holes done. Now, just slow this down a little bit. That's probably a lot. Oh. These uni bits don't drill very well. They'll cut okay once they start cutting, but they're not real keen on drilling, even though I drilled a pilot hole. Okay. Alrighty, well, I've got my my bracket lightning holes drilled. They're just random. I did mark them so they're sort of neat, but they're still random, just a couple here and a couple there sort of thing. And the big one in the middle. The gliders have started to come back. We've got a gliding competition on here and tomorrow at the moment. But anyway, this is done. Drilled some lightning holes in the second piece I'm making. It's pretty much ready to rivet together right now. There's 2 concepts that I wanted to show with regards to this. First of all, the countersinking of these 4 rivets that hold it together. This is the landing piece where the fabric lands on this and will eventually cover this all together. And there'll be 4 other rivets, 4 of the big-headed fabric rivets holding the fabric to this to stop it from moving and flapping or whatever. So this face has to be fairly smooth. Now I can't countersink this because it's too thin. It's only, whatever this is, 25 thou in fact. So it's only 25 thousandths of an inch thick. Okay, so how are we going to do this? We've got countersink rivets that will fit in this. The concept that I want to put across is we need to dimple. It's called dimpling. Matter of fact, if you look closely, you might be able to see that these 4 holes, not the middle one, but these 4 holes are actually dimpled. They will take a countersink rivet. There's a countersunk rivet in one of the holes, and it's dead set smooth. Okay? How do you put those in? Let's have a look. we use this tool here, which is a dimpling tool. It's a 1/8 dimpling tool because these are 1/8 rivets that I'm going to rivet it together with. All we do is slip it in, give it a squeeze, and it puts these perfect little dimples in. Doesn't remove any metal. The original amount of metal is still there. Now, the dimples have to fit into something. So, on this piece, I have countersunk the rivet holes. And you do that with this tool. This is just in my electric drill. The cage doesn't rotate, just the cutter. There's the cutter rotating there. Okay, so we can countersink this just to the exact right depth. There it is there, and so on, and do all 4 of those. And believe it or not, the dimples will fit into those countersinks sort of there, sort of perfectly. Yeah, no gaps in between the two. They sit down perfectly. If we put one of our countersink, we already proved that the countersink rivet will fit into the dimple, but there we go. Perfect surface finish. Yeah, the fabric will sit on here, no problem whatsoever. So the next thing to do is to squeeze these rivets. Yeah, set the rivets, I should say. In this case, we're going to squeeze them, but we need to set them. I'll bring you back. Alrighty, this should be fun. Bit of a contraption I have here. I've put some clamps on to hold the pieces together because it's multiple pieces and quite long rivets that I'm using. Here's the rivet head, wherever it is, over this side, and the tail is sticking out this side. Now normally when you go to squeeze a rivet like this, you need about two diameters of the rivet sticking out. Well, I've probably got 3. I've got a little bit too much, but I've found from experience that if I cut them off, they are then a little bit too short, even if I cut the smallest amount off. So I'm going to try and squeeze this up, even though I know the rivet is a bit too long. If you have a look there, there's too much rivet sticking up. There should only be about 2 diameters. But let's see how we go. This is the same tool I was using with the dimples. It's now got flat snaps in there. We'll come over this way, where you might be able to see what I'm doing. Now there. We'll do this. All right. There's the first one I've just squeezed. Where are we? Right there. And you look at that. Oh my God, that's way too flat. Yeah, well, it was way too long when I started. All of the compression in the rivet took place here in the pieces that I'm riveting together. So because this is not structural, it has to hold together while I screw an eye bolt in there to tie the aeroplane down. It really doesn't matter. Once the eye bolt's screwed in, they're going to stay together anyway. So I'll use this. If we get the tool, if we can get the tool in so that it's more or less lined up with the centre of this arm and the centre of the shaft and the centre of this bit, which is exactly what we want. You can tell the angle on the handles. You can tell if it's correct or not. And this is not. that angle's too big. I can't get my hands around it. So it'll be very difficult to put the right amount of force on here. So what I did was I used the bench, push it right into the dimple, and away you go. Squeeze like crazy. That's much better. That's about the right, where are we? Right here. That's about the right amount sticking out. There is a gauge that you can put on there. The rivet should have expanded sufficiently, and it should also be the right amount sticking up. But that will, for the purposes of this exercise, what I'm trying to achieve, that will be fine. Now we do one more. And I've got to cut this rivet off. That's a normal rivet on the end. I'll cut the minimum amount off that rivet that I can get away with. Which is about there. Yep, that's good. That's not good because it's on an angle. I don't know, you probably won't be able to see it, but it's not cut straight. So it won't squeeze straight. I pretty much guarantee that. Put that in there. And again, too much is... And, oh yes, that's pretty good. That came up pretty good. This is the rivet we just squeezed, right there. The bottom side, beautiful, perfect. Can't do much better than that. And I'll just do the last one. And squeeze away. There we go. Yeah, pretty good. This side, this is the side that really matters in this particular case. In a structural application, probably one of those is acceptable out of the four, but that's okay. In this application, all of them are acceptable. They're not structural, and there it is, smooth as can be, perfect. Now all I've got to do is drill this out. So back to the drill again. Drill it out to 5/16, which is the correct size for 3/8 UNC tap. I've ordered a tap. It'll be a few days before it gets here, but I can at least drill the hole and be ready to tap it when I get the tap. And I think well, we'll go and work out where to rivet this onto the spar in a minute, but otherwise that's pretty much ready. I'm not going to rivet it to the spar because I'm going to paint it and all sorts of things first, but that's the next step anyway. Alrighty, here's the 532. This 532 will probably take a little bit of the to it as well. There we go. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Very good. And that's it, nice and flat. 5/16 hole, which is the correct size for the tapping exercise that I've got to do next. Done. Okay, we're in the final straight now. We're on our downhill run. I've installed this. I've taken the 4 mounting holes out to 316. I've deburred these holes. They're all nice and clear now. You're not going to cut yourself if you... These 4 holes have been deburred as well. How do we deburr the inside of these holes? Now there's a problem, but we can do it, and I am ready to do this one somewhere. This is my 3/8 air drill. What I've put in it is just an ordinary nail for nailing 2 pieces of wood together. I've put a 90-degree bend on the end of the nail, if you can see there, right there. And then I've sharpened the inside of it here. You can't see it, but believe it or not, it is sort of like a knife blade, but it's facing back towards me right now. Yeah? If we put that in the hole, we pull up on the drill and we turn the chuck, we actually deburr the inside of the hole. It only takes a couple of turns. The sharp edge here actually deburrs the inside of the hole. So I'll quickly knock these 4 over. I've already done the other wing, the other spar. That's all it takes. These holes have been drilled, as I said, to 316. 316 stainless is a big rivet, and don't try and pull that by hand unless you're like superhuman. You're going to have a little lay down and a bit of a rest after you've pulled like 1. So there we go. That's inside and outside of those 4 holes. I guess I can show you on here. If you poke that through the hole and then you pull back on it, that's the bit that does the cutting right there. Yeah. And it cuts the any burrs off the inside. Okay, so there's still a couple of jobs to go. Remember, I've still got to tap the hole. The tap won't turn up for a few more days yet. And I want it off the wing when I do that, so that I get the alignment sort of vertical, dead set vertical. It's obviously it still has to be painted as well. I've also put 4 holes in here so that I can attach the fabric in those 4 places. So anyway, that's pretty much today's work done. Yeah, so maybe I'll paint that this afternoon. That might be a good, although it takes a bit of time between, because it's got to be prepared properly and all the rest of it. So maybe basically freestyled these tie down points. I think this will work really well indeed. And like I say, the same tie down kit that fits the RV6 should fit this aeroplane as well. I shouldn't need to carry 2 different tie down kits depending on which aeroplane I'm flying. But that's it. I'll try and catch up with something a bit more exciting, although the next exciting episode is a lot of painting. The paint shop's full of bits that are not painted, and it's the bottleneck right now. I have to paint. I have to get in and start doing some painting. I can't make anything else unless I start painting. But anyway, that's it. See you next week.